Hello everyone, I just wanted to do a little post Red List Rescue debrief with you all regarding Buddy because so many of you guys advocated your brains out for him with us, and for that you deserve this, and I'm so blessed to be able to share this with you. As you know, Buddy was adopted yesterday, and I just want to give you a little bit of the backstory behind what happened. Why? Because I like to take the time to share with you guys the reality of what goes on. So many times Instagram you see the pretty stuff, right? You see the success or you see the sadness, maybe one high or low, but you don't see what's going on behind the scenes. And I think that's really important for Frost Fun to share that as much as we can, because you guys, when I say Frost Fun fam, I mean it, because literally we cannot do this with just one person. It takes everyone during these advocacy missions to do their parts. And so many of you guys did that. I can't, I'm just still blown away at the amount of effort put into Buddy. And I'm so glad that Frost Fun was able to lead the charge on that. And I just want you guys to know your support, your sharing, your messages you send me help me to keep going as well. So I could talk all day about that, but let's get to the point of this. I just want to share like what happened and then kind of some takeaways from it. So where do we start? As you guys know, we were advocating for quite some time, 12, 13 days, I believe it was, and we got like no responses. A couple like little water drops here and there of people somewhat interested, but nothing that was like, okay, there's foundation here. And so as usual, you keep praying, you keep working, and I truly have found through these missions personally, man, my faith just grows in unique ways every time in Jesus, because he just reveals new parts of me in these missions and himself, and that to me personally is the coolest part. But what I wanted to talk about, so where are we going with this? How it started. So initially we were contacted maybe just 3 days ago by an adopter who lived in Paso. They wanted Buddy so badly. They were great. However, they couldn't get him till the end of February. So Frost Fun was willing to do that transport, but in the meantime, he was still on that urgent list and he really needed to get out of the shelter. His condition was deteriorating. He wasn't exactly in a safe space. And so the priority always is with these dogs, get them out as soon as possible. So in order to ensure that they could adopt later this year, we need to get a foster on board for the few weeks leading up to it so that we could get Buddy out of the shelter and that we could ensure he would be safe and then get him up to the adopters in Paso. Well, here's the thing. If you don't know this, without going into crazy detail, to get a foster on board, you need a rescue organization to approve a foster. So a foster has to apply with a rescue organization. That's different than the shelter. And then if they get approved, then at that point, we can go to the next step of that foster meeting the animal, making sure everything goes well, and then pulling it with support of the rescue organization. Now, here's something I feel is worth noting. Frost Fun is not a rescue organization. We are a rescue advocacy organization. There's a big difference. We ourselves don't have the power to rescue animals in the sense that a rescue organization does. Not yet, anyway. So what we do is help connect them. We bring the pieces together, we advocate, and we assist as much as we can with that process. So fast forward, we've got the foster, they've applied, they got approved by the rescue organization. Well, they have a puppy of their own that they needed to go meet Buddy to make sure they got along before they could pull Buddy so that we could then hold on to Buddy and take him to his adopters in Paso later this month. Well, much to our surprise, that meet and greet did not go well. We had it scheduled. We thought we were going to pull Buddy that day by the foster. Well, her puppy just did not like Buddy, which is really sad because Buddy is the sweetest little angel in the world. But it's okay. Things happen, right? And so Brittany a year ago would have lost her mind and been like, oh my God, it's over. What do we do? No, not this time, because God has shown me he pulls through every time. And not only that, he pulls through abundantly more than we could ask for or imagine. And that to me is how I know when a roadblock like that happens. Yeah, it hurts. Yeah, it stings. Yeah, it's frustrating. But it's like, all right, what's next? We got to keep moving. What is next? What is the solution we're ultimately working towards, right? If we stopped every time we got a no, or things didn't go our way, or we felt sad, we would never get anywhere. So thank God for that faith he's building in me, and I hope to share that with you guys too, because it's important in all areas of our lives. So to stay on track here, so that didn't go well. So literally I'm at the shelter. The poor foster is so, you know, sorry, which it's not her fault. She can't control what just happened. But at that point, we can't pull Buddy. Buddy has no adopter in the sense that he can't get out of the shelter that day, which is what he needs to do first and foremost for his own safety and health. And without a foster, I can't guarantee to these adopters who want him later this month that he is able to be theirs at this point, essentially. We were counting on having that foster. So it was like this really big chink in the chain of like, what do we do? Well, now this brings me to my next point. And so what ended up happening was when I went to the shelter to meet with the foster for her to do the meet and greet, and then for us to pull Buddy for the adopters in Paso, it was the craziest thing, guys. So again, just more testimony of how God works. I had ran a race that morning up in Chino, super sweaty, barely had time to get home and get to the shelter in Long Beach. So I was rushing around, and if you know me, I'm doing good to like have my hair combed half the time. And so I needed my Frost Fun sweater to wear to the shelter. I like to do that just because I like to do that for obvious reasons. And I couldn't find it anywhere. I was like, where is it? Oh God, it's dirty. So here's the behind the scenes ugly. The sweater is at the very bottom of my hamper. I don't know what this sweater's been through. So anyway, I'm like, okay, forget it. I'm not going to wear it. I go to leave and I feel this strong, you need to wear the sweater. And I'm like, okay, all right, God, I hear you. So I go, I pull the sweater, I fluff it for 10 minutes, throw it on, spray some perfume, out the house. We're going to a shelter anyway, so it's not the red carpet. Not yet. No, I'm kidding. So anyway, to the point here, as you can see, I'm very excited. So I get to the shelter, I'm signing in for Buddy. Like where you get to the shelter, you go, you sign in to either adopt, foster, meet, you just basically have to sign in. I'm got my back face towards the paper and this woman taps me on the shoulder and she goes, oh my gosh, she goes, I'm here to see a dog that I saw was posted by this organization. And I was like, oh my gosh, are you here to see Buddy? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, oh my gosh. Well, about this time, her 3 adorable kids and husband come running up. And they're all waiting to see Buddy. And I'm like, you guys, I'm so sorry. We're actually here because Buddy got an adopter. We're here to meet with the foster. And assuming that goes well, then we're going to basically be pulling Buddy and bringing him later this month up to his adopters. They were so crushed, so sad. And the little girl, she's so sweet. She ran up to me and it was the most precious thing. And she's like, is Buddy still alive? Is Buddy still alive? And my heart just was like, oh my gosh, like, oh, I've never had that predicament of like, we're saving him and then there's someone else to save him. But why do I feel sad? Like, what is going on? So anyway, keeping to the point here, we then go and do the meet and greet. I tell this family, I'm so sorry, you know, but this is what I also did. I introduced myself. I said, look, can I get your number? Because crazier things have happened. And as we know in rescue, one day could be great, one day could be bad. It's literally not done until it's done. So I got her number, we exchanged numbers. They leave just as Buddy's coming out to meet the foster. It was so sad. And anyway, sad in the sense for them, happy for Buddy and the foster. So we do the meet and greet at that point. It doesn't go well for what I just explained in part 1. So we're in that dilemma of what do we do? The most important thing is Buddy's health and his wellness. So I immediately call the family that had just left about 15 minutes ago and said, look, I told you crazier things have happened. I'm glad I got your number. Are you guys interested in being able to support Buddy in any way? Fostering, you know, what does that look like potentially? And they were so sweet. They were willing to do that. And at the time on the phone call, that was the lead option. Well, afterwards, we come to find out that perhaps that wasn't the best situation just for the obvious reasons of the family dynamics. And so that created just a little bit of a challenge. So fast forward, we have a conversation with them and it's later that evening. Later that evening, I get a text and we had a conversation before about adopting versus fostering Buddy. I get a text from the family that says, we are going to go visit Buddy at 10 a.m. tomorrow. And I said, all right, I'll be there. Let's do this. So we go there and they meet with Buddy. It's the most amazing meet. It's truly one of those things that was meant to be. I can't even believe that had I not worn that Frost Fun sweater, she would not have seen me if we weren't there at the same time. Who knows what would have happened with Buddy at this point? Because at the end of the day, the most important thing is that he is adopted and he is out of that shelter. So while our hearts broke that the original adopters weren't able to have Buddy as we hoped and as they wanted, I truly believe everything happens for a reason. And there was a reason that I wore that sweater. There was a reason that she was there at the same time. There was a reason we exchanged numbers. And there was a reason that that fostering situation didn't work out, because ultimately Buddy was meant to be this family's. And so we're so excited that, you know, what started as an unfortunate situation, because Buddy could not be adopted by this first family without a foster, he was essentially up for grabs still. He needed to be pooled. He needed to be adopted, and that is what this family stepped up to do. And we are just so thankful for them. Okay, so now that you've kind of heard Buddy's behind the scenes, here's my personal takeaways from this incredible mission. Sorry, it's raining. This hair is crazy. Guys, you made the difference. If we're going to give the shout out, Debbie Hines specifically, your posting of Buddy led to his rescue from his adopters. Yes, it was a dynamic way getting there, but this just goes to show you don't have to have 50,000 followers. You don't have to have 10,000 followers. You don't have to have 500 followers. Just taking the time to post and share, you guys, you never know who is going to see that and be affected that we don't know about. You have power. We are here to prove that. This is the 14th dog we've saved by doing this, you guys. And so I just wanted to firstly remind you of that. Secondly, God is just so good. All the glory goes to him in these rescues, all of them, because he has abundantly pulled through every time, more than I could ask for or imagine. And there's always just some beautiful way it aligns. Everything aligns. And I can't do that. I'm not an expert. I'm just being obedient to what he's calling me to do. So just know that when you see this success, yes, it's beautiful and it's exciting, but it is God created and God led. And that is the only way I'm able to withstand the hardships of doing all this, because it is emotionally and physically and relationally draining. There's a lot of sacrifices made to be able to do this on my part. I'm just going to be honest. But I feel called to do it, and I know therefore he will give me the strength and the wisdom and the resources to do it. You guys are a huge part of that. And so if there's anything in your life that you're feeling called to do, or you're feeling like you can make a difference but you're not sure how, just start doing something, you guys. It doesn't have to be huge. When I started this, it was literally like just voluntarily a year ago. I had no nonprofit. I had no help. I just saw a problem and I started to learn about it. And what was the problem? How can I help? And it's very dynamic. But when you get the wheels turning, things can happen. And God works in such cool ways when you just step out and offer that. So I just wanted to share that with you guys, that behind the scenes little look. Thank you guys again for all your support. If you listen to this all the way through, thank you too. Okay, so I'm going to wrap up. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Stay tuned. We'll have more Red List rescues to come. You know, we take a little break in between because we need it. But we'll just keep going as long as God allows us. So thank you guys. I will talk to you soon.